It seems like not that long ago when Grace Vanderwaal amazed the judges and viewers alike with her incredible ukulele skills. Not only that, the young singer's stunning voice and infectious personality quickly made her rise through the ranks and become a fan favorite. Enough so that she ended up winning the $1 million cash prize and the opportunity to headline her own show by the end of the 11th season. To say that there was no stopping Grace once she'd gone viral for her audition would be an understatement, since the overnight sensation has now managed to quadruple her success and does not seem to have plans of stopping anytime soon. In the past 7 years, Grace Vanderwaal seems set to prove that she's more than just that one girl who went viral back in the day. And that's reflected in her lifestyle and career choices today. So join us as we take a look at the life of Grace Vanderwaal and her time on America's Got Talent.
Traveling these wild roads so long, my heart's been far.
It became clear to Tina and David Vanderwaal fairly early that their youngest daughter Grace had an affinity towards music that was more than just a childish hobby. When Grace started writing and singing her own songs from an early age and asked for a ukulele for one of her birthdays, it was undeniable that she'd end up in the world of music, come hell or high water. Even so, it was not until 2015 that Grace actually felt confident enough in her musical ability to start recording covers and posting her own original songs on YouTube. Of her many musical inspirations, she cited Jason Mraz, 21 Pilots, and Katy Perry as some of her favorites, a fact that shines through in her own musical productions. Only a year later, in 2016, Grace Vanderwaal auditioned for America's Got Talent, and the rest, as we know, is history. What was so profoundly impressive about her audition, and also what set her apart from other artists who became overnight sensations, was the fact that she got a golden buzzer after performing an original song, a rare feat in the show. The song about self-identity and finding oneself, I Don't Know My Name, was the first of many original songs she'd go on to perform on the show. By the time the show ended, Grace did not need the title of winner to prove just how immensely talented she was, but she had both the talent and the knowledge that she was the first on the show to win after exclusively performing original songs. It's not easy to predict how one might spend a fortune after winning it at such an early age, but for Grace Vanderwaal, the decision could not have been easier. As planned, she donated a sum of her $1 million winnings to purchase 2 tree houses from the organization Treehouse Masters, one for her and another for her sister. As expected, the young singer's launch to success meant that she was regularly booked to appear on popular talk shows like The Ellen Show and The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon throughout the year. While juggling all this press attention, Grace was simultaneously headlining sold-out shows in the PH showroom at the Las Vegas Planet Hollywood Resort and Casino later in 2016. Around this time, in September, Grace also managed to bag a recording deal with Columbia Records, and not long after, she released her debut EP, Perfectly Imperfect, on the 2nd of December 2016. Then, to wrap up Grace's booked and busy 2016, she was invited back to the AGT stage as a headliner for the America's Got Talent Holiday Spectacular, where she performed her arrangement of Frosty the Snowman. It was a great marketing move on her part, to use the momentum she received from America's Got Talent to launch herself into something grander. The EP included all of her original songs from AGT and another original, Gossip Girl. Grace followed that up with appearances and performances of her songs, including but not limited to playing at halftime during a Knicks game at Madison Square Garden in New York City. Most notable of these performances include her singing I Don't Know My Name at Cyndi Lauper's annual holiday fundraiser at the Beacon Theatre, on The Talk on CBS, and at Z100's Jingle Ball Tour in 2016. Not long after the new year began, Grace was back at work and singing her breakout single I Don't Know My Name on Live with Kelly. She serenaded engaged couples on top of the Empire State Building on Valentine's Day and sang at the annual One Night for One Drop benefit gala, organized by the Cirque du Soleil at the New York Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. Before that, Grace also performed at the We Day Illinois and Allstate Arena to celebrate young people's actions on social issues. Despite these ongoing gigs, Grace had some of the most monumental moments of her career in 2017, and one of those was appearing twice at both the opening and closing ceremony of the 2017 Special Olympic World Winter Games in Austria. There, she duetted with Jason Mraz on 2 of his songs and had the opportunity to sing a few of her own songs and amaze the audience with her musical prowess. Charities, donations, and benefit galas seem to be an important part of Grace's career progression, as she has performed at multiple venues throughout the years, all while managing to juggle her more important corporate gigs just as efficiently as she could. She'd started working on her debut album titled Just the Beginning in early 2017, and while working on the album, she talked about how surreal the process of being an artist who has to produce music on demand was. She was also clear that this album would be a more finessed version of what audiences had already seen from her, and at VidCon's opening show in California that year, she premiered the first single of her upcoming album. After Moonlight received positive reception, Grace started releasing more singles from the album and even went back to AGT as a guest performer to promote her new single. At this point, Grace had reached the level of notoriety that allowed her music and voice to be used in advertisements. Her first ever single, I Don't Know My Name, was named one of the 16 most empowering songs for women so far in 2017, and she visited Ellen again, this time to promote her upcoming album. At the same time, Grace kept up her public appearances and gigs, and even appeared on Treehouse Masters in an episode about the treehouses that she had planned since her appearance on AGT. She even modeled at New York Fashion Week for Marc Jacobs in the same month. To no one's surprise, the album was received remarkably well once it was out on the 3rd of November in 2017 and debuted in the Billboard 200 Albums chart at number 22. But there's very little rest rewarded to someone in her position, and as soon as the press for her new album ended, Grace was all set to begin her first solo concert tour, her Just the Beginning tour. By September of 2017, the tour had completely sold out. Later in 2018, Grace had other adventures awaiting her. She traveled to Kenya for more charity work and performed on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert and The Late Late Show with James Corden. Soon, she also joined Imagine Dragons for the North American leg of their Evolve World Tour from June to August of 2018. By the very next year, Grace had reached the kind of fame in her chosen profession that she'd actively started working on projects that were more interactive than a studio album. By early 2019, Grace had recorded her first ever soundtrack, Hideaway, for the animated movie Wonder Park. She also went on another tour titled You're So Beautiful Tour that she performed at the Trevor Project Gala. And if that wasn't enough, she also released another EP in 2019 titled Letters Volume 1. This was also the year Grace dipped her feet into the world of acting and starred in Disney Plus's Stargirl as the titular character Susan Caraway. Her performance was received quite well and was described by Courtney Howard as magnetic. While she's been fairly quiet in the last couple of years, she has released a few songs, and as of the past couple of years has reprised her role as Stargirl in a sequel of her last show, Hollywood Stargirl. This project is set to be released in 2024. Grace has also recently been cast in the upcoming film Megalopolis, the production of which started in 2022. While Grace has resurfaced on the live music scene in Brooklyn and has played a few unreleased songs at 2 shows, we're hoping for news about a new album soon. This singer has previously opened up about her past experience with fame and growing up in the public eye, and such themes are expected to be an important part of her future work. In an exclusive interview with E! News, Grace talked about how she has definitely faced the mental repercussions of growing up in the public eye. She feels that she is still struggling with how to take care of herself to the best of her abilities, and one of the few things that helps her is getting out and getting dressed. Despite it all, Grace seems to be taking life head-on and does not seem to have any plans of slowing down, as evidenced by her 6.2 million Instagram followers and the release of her most recent track, Boyfriends. All this to say, we can't wait to see what she gets up to next.